Okay. Hi, and welcome to the QFX panel for Passage the Series. I'm here with Hillary, Shannon, Mandahla, and Nicole. Hi, guys.
Hi.
Hi. How are you?
Very well.
Good.
To start off, I wanted to do a this or that on food. So, to loosen us up a little bit, I'm gonna say two options and you just shoot out the first one that you love, and that is your choice. You can't take it back. Okay, so
No
pizza
pressure.
or pasta?
Pizza.
Pasta.
Hillary?
I said pasta.
Okay, cupcakes or cookies?
Cupcakes.
Depends on the
Brownies.
cupcakes. Yeah, cupcakes.
I'm sorry. I'm failing.
It's okay. Ice cream or froyo?
Froyo.
Froyo.
Mustard.
Oh. Mexican food or Chinese food?
Mexican.
That's good.
Pancakes or waffles?
Hmm.
Waffles.
Waffles.
Hillary?
I
You gotta pick.
don't really eat them. I make pancakes for braided pancakes.
Okay. Coke or Pepsi?
Coke.
Pepper.
I was say I don't know the last time I had either of those.
But if I had to,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
Savory or sweet?
savory.
Savory.
Sweet.
Nutella or peanut butter?
Peanut butter.
Yeah, butter. Nutella.
Nutella.
Breakfast or dinner?
Breakfast.
Breakfast for dinner.
Yes.
Yes. So I want to start off with Hillary. What was the spark, like the initial moment where this idea came to life for you?
So the ideas sort of had been floating around in my head for a while, but it's always one of those stories that's like, okay, I'll jot it down, whatever. It'll just be one of those ideas I have. And then at a convention a couple of years ago, Emiliana just kind of sparked my passion to start writing again. And then on the flight home, essentially outlined this whole world and series and everything like that. So it's been sort of I had an idea, and then a couple of years ago it got sparked, and 5-hour flight.
Dang. And then Emily, she is an inspiration. She really gets you going.
Yep.
And what planning went into writing a mythology based on a paranormal gay sci-fi web series?
How long do we have?
All the time.
Yeah, I'm still researching stuff to make sure that I'm not, I want to make it make sense enough to where it's believable, right? Because we got a sci-fi world with a secret organization with weapons and mythology and paranormal stuff. There's a lot of science that goes into that, as well as the actual mythology behind it. So I'm still researching to this day to make sure that I'm saying something that's believable, because I hate that when you watch sci-fi shows, you're like, well, I'm not going to believe that at all. That doesn't make sense. And then also then, of course, giving Mandahla some fun words to say on set. But then also weaving in the mythology and planning as I'm sort of writing out the different season and then the series as a whole to make sure that it all kind of flows together. So even now I'm double checking and making sure that 2 and 3 sort of make sense and still kind of work with where I want it to go.
Yeah. What were the favorite words that Mandahla that you made her learn?
That's Mandahla.
What?
I remember them. The satellite in the something. No, it was a while. It was October
2017 when we shot it. Yeah.
Wow. Do you remember, Hillary?
No, that's why I was hoping she was. So what happens?
Satellite radiation, something electromagnetic.
Yeah, electromagnetic radiation field detector.
In satellite dishes that I found.
Yep.
And for Shannon, Mandahla, and Nicole, what drew you to these characters? Shannon first.
I mean, initiation by fire, really. I was the right place at the right time, and not ashamed to say that I had been drinking and was not prepared at all. And I got an opportunity really, it's the opportunity that as an actor, you really, you kind of not hope for because you want to go in more prepared than that. But I knew that Nicole was being the responsible actress because we had invited her to said drinking party before the panel. And she was like, no, I'm doing a panel. I gotta prepare. And so needless to say, honestly, I fell in love with it the moment that I did. And, you know, getting back together, working with Nicole after so many years was awesome. And to be honest, I mean, Nicole can attest to this. I like messaged her at one point and like, Hillary's still talking to me about this, but you know, we get burned a lot, right? Like until the first day you're on set, you can be replaced. Even when you're on set, you can be replaced. And so I'm like, Hillary's messaging me about this. Is she messaging you about this? And Nicole was like, yeah, she is. So that's kind of what it was. But the writing, I mean, the writing, the script, the representation of a woman where her sexuality wasn't the primary focus, it was just accepted and part of who she was, and the family. Great.
Yeah. What about you, Nicole?
Well, while I knew I was going to be doing the panel, so I was sitting there preparing because I'm a control freak. Not great thing. Probably would have been good if I had a drink. But I mean, immediately going in there, like the getting to act with Shannon again and getting to like just dive into that chemistry that we already had established for My Hate Tommy Finch was just a joy. Truly. It was like, you know, riding a bike. Like you get back on and you're just like, well, this just feels like breathing. It's great. And that's how you want to feel when you're acting in something, that it feels effortless and you feel like you're effortlessly connecting with your scene partner. And that was how that reading felt. And so by the end of the reading, it was like, oh yeah, we've got something here. And I know that obviously the production team felt the same way, because then they were like, well, we got to cast you guys. So that was great and felt good. And then I think the other part of it for me in terms of the actual character is that to that point, nobody was really taking me seriously as somebody who could be like the sort of warm, compassionate, like supportive partner character. And I'm starting to get a little bit more of that now that I'm getting a little older, but like people were really just throwing me in roles that were kind of the same, and getting to play that and have that like maternal thing going on felt really new and different and something that I wanted to explore. So yeah.
And Mandahla?
My first introduction to Passage was actually at the panel, the reading that they all did, except I was in the front, in the audience watching it and hearing it from everyone's mouths that way. And then I didn't really hear back from it until I got a call from Kristen, the director, and said, hey, what are you doing in, I think it was a couple of weeks? Would you like, you know, we'll be in Richmond and shooting, and this is a character. And I just was like, yeah, I'd love to. It's actually my first, other than Biffle, it's my first, because I shot this first, I believe. It was my first introduction into comedy, into comedy. And I remember just being really nervous about it, and all the big words on top of that as well. But I was all on board from the get-go. You had me at sci-fi.
Yeah. And for Shannon and Nicole, I apologize for fireworks. Wherever you are, the fireworks are here. So for Shannon and Nicole, married queer people on screen isn't something you see as often as we'd like. How was it for you playing that couple?
You go first. I mean, to be honest, like I've been out for an embarrassingly long time now. I was just thinking about it the other day. I was like, it's been 20 years this year since I've been out, which is an insane amount of time. So like the prospect of being in a long-term partnership with a woman, married or not, has been a very big reality in my life for 20 years. So for me, it felt completely natural and just, you know, always exciting to be able to bring something like that to screen. I think for me, I love showing an LGBTQ family. Like I love showing that and normalizing that. And so like the fact that we had a daughter in that really, I don't know, it got into my heart feels pretty big. Yeah.
I gotta piggyback off of that because I mean, my favorite thing because are we allowed to give spoilers here? Or are we assuming that people have seen this?
We're assuming they've seen it, yeah.
If you
And
haven't, I'm sorry.
yeah.
I love
Spoiler
spoilers,
alert.
so feel free to
Yeah.
message me and tell me about the spoiler that you want to ruin for me. But you know, the thing that was, it was dealing with a loss, and so the idea that the wife was there but not there, and then Allie couldn't even do her own job in giving her own wife passage is it was really sad. So the most uplifting day for me was when Nicole and I went out and we shot family photos. So we had our little Erin and you know, the family, and that was living, and I got chills about it. But in that moment, it was like, this is so beautiful because it's not represented enough. And I think that is the thing that we're pushing for, right? Is that love is love, and there's no reason that you have to quantify who it needs to be between, because at the end of the day, that door is closed and you go in, and the conversations that you have are so much more important than whatever perceived notion. But yet we have to normalize it at first by being present, by being out, by making a stand and telling them, people, we are normal, we are loved, we have the right to love.
Yeah, and the more that I think about it, the more I'm like, do I know any like female couple that has a kid? Like I'm thinking about like Modern Family has like that couple.
Oh, you mean acting?
I don't know. No, I'm talking about like, yeah, in acting. Because you know how you want to see the representation on screen that speaks to you in your life, and I'm thinking of any other couples that I've seen that are married with a child nonetheless. It doesn't happen.
I'll speak to that because I saw somebody while I was getting ready on Twitter ask what was like a high and low of Allie, and I'll tell you, one of the lows of Allie was also the high, which was Erin. Because to me, we always see heteronormative relationships with children. Usually it's like co-parenting. Single parents on ABC would be the anomaly of that, where everybody is like, it's a village, right? It takes a village to raise these kids. But for Erin, it was like, great, we have these two women that get to support this lovely little child, but yet when drama hits, when life hits and there's a separation and a removal of a parent, I think Allie kind of failed in that moment. It was a little bit like Carrie Matheson in Homeland. Like, she couldn't do her job and be a mother. She had to choose. And that to me is heteronormative television. Like, when you look at family, unless it is a family focused entertainment show or project, then there's usually a disconnect. And I think that there are so many hardworking women with children these days that are working to change that narrative. So again, it is something that we need to also see on screen, is that you can both have a child and be highly successful.
Yeah, it's snapping thumbs is perfect. And I have an audience question from Twitter from Lizzie. And it's for Shannon. What's your favorite thing about Allie, and what is the one thing about her you'd change?
I mean, that was actually, I didn't know it was from Lizzie, but that's what I was speaking to.
Oh, that's the one.
That's the one. Yeah, I saw that come through while I was literally, I think, blow drying my hair. And I wish Allie could realize what she has. And I think that Hillary has, she's written, because it is such an important thing. I know Hillary very well now, obviously, after all these years, but it is an important thing that family be well represented. And I think Allie has some growth to do in the parenting department. That's what I would change. But that's what the fun of television is, right? There's the growth.
Yeah. What about you, Mandahla, Nicole? What would you change about your character?
I guess I'd make her not be dead. Oh, shit. That'd be cool. She wasn't dead. So it feels like there's more possibility if she's live, but the truth is, who knows? There might be more possibility in the other plane, actually. TBD, you know. But yeah, I don't know. I guess that would it. That would be it. It would have been fun to be able to be alive in part of it, then die, if that makes sense. There we go. That's what there we go. I wish I had a superpower, like a level. I wish I was I could pick up the powers that Ellie does.
I like that.
Being techie is pretty cool, and I'm pretty cool at the tech stuff. But just to be able to actually not have to use the EMF glasses to see the ghosts would be more useful.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. Let me see. I have another question from Twitter, and it's for Hillary. Do you have any advice for someone hoping to get their web series produced?
I mean, I got lucky because it was a pitch to production, and so I was sort of, I had a sort of like door open, if you will, because I did the pitch, and then I was very thankful that I then got to meet all of these people and got to pick their brains and learn as I was going. And so I think for people who have an idea and the first thing is to write, because that's all, just keep writing and keep building your repertoire, if you will, of stories, and then pitching is another thing too, whether you're pitching for a contest or you're actually like meeting with the producer and pitching there. I think working on a really good pitch is another thing too, because you need to be able to talk about your idea in really quick form, especially when you're trying to get money or get it, like get in the door in front of somebody to try to get that funding. So I think writing, pitching, and then also being kind to yourself if it takes time, because I started writing a lot of these stories when I was in high school, and I am now going to be 36. So it's kind of one of those things where it'll happen on its pace, and just be patient and be kind with yourself.
I like that. It's true. And I wanted to ask, because every show is a journey. What did you guys learn about yourself while filming Passage? You want to start with Mandahla?
I'm a slow processor. Let me have a little think about this first, just so that I can.
Okay, Nicole.
What did I learn about myself? Well, the first thing that comes to mind is that I can exist and do good work on less sleep than I think that I can. Probably. Because my time in Virginia was very, very brief. And I had to fly out at an insane hour the morning after I finished to go shoot something else in Portland, Oregon. So it was an intense fly by the night, but it was a really great challenge for me in terms of just diving in and trusting that that the chemistry was there with Shannon, that I was going to be able to step into this world and just work on my instinct without having to force it, or I don't know, feel like whatever. Because sometimes I can get into the world of over preparing, and that's not great, because that goes back to the control thing. And then I have try to take control too much of it. And I felt like with this, because my schedule was so packed, it was a great lesson in being no, just trust yourself and the people around you, and it's gonna work out. If you like the project, you like the people around you, trust yourself, and it's gonna be fine. So, yeah.
And what about you, Shannon?
Man, that's hard. I learned so much about myself, in very much in terms of, because I wear multiple hats, and because I do work behind camera as well as in front of camera. There were times where we would have to have a discussion, and Kristen and I had worked with each other so many times where I was the person offering suggestions or advice or any of that. So to step away from that position, and Hillary and I had very in-depth conversation about that, because I was like, at a certain point, I will have to step away and be Allie. And it's not something often as an independent artist you get to do, because, at the studio level where you're booked for a block of time, and, you have a little bit more flexibility to become that character. When you're wearing multiple hats and maybe shooting the same day you're directing, it doesn't happen. So the ability to step back and really embrace the character and know it in all facets was something that I haven't really done since the stage. Ironically, also, not the last theater, second to the last theater that I did was with Nicole. So, yeah, there's compartmentalizing is something I thought I did well, but it was actually something I needed to relearn. And honestly, meditating and music really helped to facilitate that. So.
And what about you, Mandahla?
Mine was going into it where I said that this was my first real introduction into comedy. I really had to learn learn to trust myself in that. The day that we shot in the stairwell where I've got all the bags over and going through that door, I remember getting so many laughs, and it was surprising to me because I've, like I said, not done comedy and not trusting myself. And I do remember that day, it was really hard because I went away thinking that I had done the worst job, and that I could have done so much better. I mean, as actors, we are our biggest critics, absolutely. And I was lucky enough that Nicole was there, and she was able to be like, but it was awesome. People were laughing, and so the biggest lesson I learned was that I actually do have some underlying comedy chops.
Okay. And when the teaser trailers came out for Passage, there were some characters we never ended up seeing in season 1. Where do they come in? Are they a teaser for what's to come? Hillary, give us a scoop.
So, yeah. So, there are characters in these teasers that, because of it being a first season of web series, we kind of had to shrink down some of the different stories and different scenes that we had wanted to do. So these teasers were kind of part of that. But yes, so the characters you see in the teasers are definitely going to be a part of season 2, and there's a lot more to them. So pay attention to them, and then support season 2 so we can talk about them.
And tell us more about season 2. Besides them.
Yeah, so season 2. So when I started this, I essentially outlined 5 seasons, 5-season arc, if you will. I have 3 seasons totally written, and then 2 are just kind of outlined. So season 2 has been written, and I put it down for a while, and then quarantine has now gotten me to pick it up and edit and add some new stuff and new adjustments, if you will, and hoping to do a read through soon with everybody, so we can, because once you get to that point where like I can't keep editing the same thing, I want to hear it out loud. And so the hope is to have a read through and then figuring out what's going on with COVID and stuff. So right now we're just kind of waiting to see what happens, and then hopefully the season 2 it's longer and more involved. Everyone comes back. Lots of stuff.
Okay. And you mentioned quarantine. What has kept you grounded during quarantine besides obviously writing?
Oh, my son, my family. I'm very lucky that he is so cute. It's frustratingly hell because he can pull anything. But yeah, I think between the family and writing, honestly, it's been, and then being able to connect with friends when we can. So everyone's obviously going through their own stuff, and it was told to me, it's like, you're not like working from home, you're working from home through a pandemic, through this crazy time. And there have been moments where I was like, I can't do this anymore because I've left 3 times this 4 months. So I'm like dying. So I am very thankful for like I said, my family and friends and writing. So I think, yeah, those 3.
What about you, Shannon?
I mean, it's probably redundant at this point, but physical fitness is my release. And I've been very fortunate. I think I at one point in my life, I heard, like, if you have a cat, dog owners are more likely to have a healthy lifestyle than cat owners, because cat owners can stay in one location, but dog owners have to get out and walk. My dog is very opinionated, and so she gets me up and we walk, and we have a 5-mile route, and she's old, so now she has a stroller that we run with. It's ludicrous. I am a crazy dog person. But yeah, so just getting out. And then really, honestly, I have to say kudos to LA County and Krikorian's office and everything, because they gave Headspace, which is an app that normally costs a significant amount of money, and they gave it to all LA County residents for free. And I'll tell you, I thought I meditated. Now I meditate. And there is something about breathing and pausing and taking that time for yourself, because like Hillary said, we are living through something that it's not the first of its kind, but it's the first of its kind for us. And just the amount of time it takes to do on a daily day, the average tasks takes longer because you are factoring in things to keep yourself safe. things to keep others around you safe. You know, there's a lot. So, hey, Effie Brown said, a day you get out of bed and you put on clothes and they can be sweats is a good day. So I have no judgment here. Every day is a good day as long as we're living.
And what about you, Nicole?
Oh man, it's been a journey so far with all of this. I definitely hit a pretty low point. I mean, I don't know, time is crazy. So I don't even know how long ago it was now, a month, 2 months ago, where I got very, very clear on just how much of an extrovert I am. And the fact that like my mental health was really suffering actually, because I really, really thrive off of the energy of other people and like in person specifically. And so I really had to find ways of like supplementing that for myself, and not spending too much time in my head. So one of the things is that I'm fortunate enough to have a little backyard, and my husband has a garden that he and our neighbor made, and it's awesome. It's like just absolutely blossomed, and being out there is like truly meditative and helpful. I love being out there. So that, and then the other thing is I have finally taken the dive into audiobooks. So I am narrating my first 2 audiobooks. I did a bunch of samples, and now I got hired to do 2. So we built a sound booth in my closet, and so we did a really good job. It sounds great. So there's a huge learning curve with it. But it's frustrating from that sense, but it's really cool. And working on different characters and different accents has been awesome. Yeah.
That sounds really cool. Like I could just imagine you trying to like put the foam on the walls and trying to get everything done.
Yeah. Yeah,
we bought the perfect amount of
it was unbelievable.
Everything. We didn't have anything left over.
Nothing.
It was perfect.
Yeah, we did a really good job.
Perfection.
Yeah.
What about you, Mandahla?
This time has been really, I think everyone can attest, it's been a hard time. But I feel really fortunate in the fact that it's been a positive time. I've been able to, I'm not very shy about it. I do come from a rougher childhood, and it's finally been that time because it's, everyone's in isolation, looking inward and actually really working hard on those inners, and just really grounding myself. So I've just been spending a lot of time with this one right here, like this here, and my rat, and I've been loving it and just been working a lot on myself and the immediate things that surround me, and also a project. We did shot a project during quarantine. I can't tell you too much about it, but it's got Emily Goss. It has Yaz from
Girls Like Magic.
Thank you, Girls Like Magic. Carrie, who's in Good Kisser, and directed by Marina Rice Bader. So, and how did we do that? It was a 20-hour day. I think I ended up working, shooting for like 19 hours of that. It was pretty wonderful. So I've just been keeping myself as busy as possible, and on top of my artwork as well. I do a lot of visual artwork.
What advice would you have for people that maybe are having a hard time right now?
That they're not alone. That they're not alone at all. And I think, this time is really difficult because where a lot of people do live by themselves and are in isolation, and also a lot of people have to live with their parents and, in circumstances that potentially are not great for their mental health. And I think we're really lucky and connected in a way that I don't think we ever have been before, in the fact that we're all feeling this globally. And it's not just a pandemic, it's everything else that's been happening as well. Black Lives Matter, everyone's feeling a lot, and I think it's brought us together much closer. And as a result of that, we're not alone. Like, it's so much easier, I think, to reach out there through the social media ethers and find other people who right there with you. And I think that's why I want to be more vocal about my past and my mental health, so that people can see someone out there who is, getting through it.
That's really, really great, because mental health is what everybody has to be working on right now, little by little. What about you, Nicole?
In terms of telling what was the question? Telling somebody there?
No, like fans or anybody watching this might be having a bit of a hard time during quarantine.
Oof, okay, couple things. It's like very okay to be having a hard time. And don't let anybody make you feel bad about not being productive enough, because I feel like there's a lot of pressure to like be the most productive you've ever been in this time because we have more time, which is not true for everybody across the board. There are plenty of essential workers out there who are actually working more than they normally do. So that's just not true that everybody has more time, but B, a lot of people have kids and have to attend to them during this time, so putting that pressure on them is crazy. And then C, like to Hillary's point, we're going through a pandemic, and now the past several weeks to a month, everything that's shifting insofar as the awareness around Black Lives Matter and that entire movement and the incredible momentum it's finally taken on, it's a lot. This is just, there are huge shifts in like specifically the American psyche happening right now. And so if you're kind of feeling like you need to just breathe and sort of take all of it in, that's okay. You don't have to be uber productive. So I would say you don't have to try to make something out of it yet. Or ever, really, if you don't want. But so I think that's what I would say. I would also say, oh God, and this is like, I'm not going to be specific about what I'm talking about right now, because this actually touches on a lot of stuff I've seen, but allow the internet to be a positive place for you. And if it's feeling like too negative a place, take a break. It's really easy to be too much online right now. And personally, I've felt myself get very negatively affected by certain conversations that are happening on Twitter and things where I'm watching people really forget how to communicate with each other in respectful ways. And it can really, really infect your psyche and your mood and your outlook. And so just get out into the real world, go like take a walk, put the phone down. That's what I would
Put
say.
that mask on.
Put that mask on, put that phone down, take a walk. Yeah.
What about you, Shannon?
Absolutely. And I'll even say, not only like take that walk, but put that audiobook on and maybe it'll be Nicole's voice. I don't know. But audiobooks have been my jam. And I will say, again, I think that my dear friend, Danny Rain, God, she's a talented actress, but she's also a mother. She was Sarah Connor. She's tough as brass balls. And she said, artists are the most adept at times like this because our life is just changing and getting one thing and pivoting on a dime, depending on whether that's that same project or a different project or, and the rest of the world doesn't operate that way and has now kind of had to be forced to and I think because of a lack of leadership, that's not, by no means to be politicized, but there is a lack of overall leadership that could give us all a clearer path, and because that's not there, I think it's very easy. I know I have felt very ping pong back and forth. One day I'm like, oh, I got this. And the next day I'm like, I have no idea what's happening. And it's very overwhelming. And on top of Black Lives Matter right now, I grew up out of this country. I grew up learning. I did not understand the racism and the hatred because I grew up in a place in multiple places that every culture was so unique. I loved everything about it. And I myself learned during Black Lives Matter how wrong that was, how much because I wasn't seeing color, had missed all of this opportunity and all of these things that had occurred to people that I love and I cherish. And even reaching out to high school friends where I was like, I'm sorry if any of this happened to you when I just thought we were a group of theater kids hanging out. Like it has been life shattering, and to the point of you know, there's guilt associated with that. And guilt is a real feeling that cannot be processed for anyone but the person going through it unless we talk about it. And because mental health has been stigmatized, I hope that the silver lining is that we all go through up and downs. Just because social media puts our best foot forward doesn't mean that that's how we're feeling that day. And so to anyone watching, to anyone listening, to anyone who wants to, my favorite way to disappear, if it's not working out, because you just can't think about other things, is to literally dive into movies, to dive into the world that exists that I want to be a part of. And there is nothing wrong with that, whether it's a book, a comic book, movie, video game. I'm playing Animal Crossing. I don't play video games. So,
no,
take care of
Animal
you.
Crossing is a thing. Like,
Dude, my fossil collection is legit. That's, although I will say my shark catching is like, there is no time. I grew up everywhere. Fishing was a thing. My father owns a boat in Alaska. We halibut fish. Like, fishing is a thing. There is no way that you catch as many fish as you do in Animal Crossing. Like, this is my new obsession. It's bizarre.
My sisters are playing that, and you could hear like their shouts of joy when they like land something big. It's just like the best feeling. I downloaded the Pocket Edition, and I was like, you know what? This is enough. I'm gonna go fishing, have some good time. Hillary, I wanted to ask, with everything that's going on in the world, has that changed the way you look at what you've written? Has it grown in surprising ways, or?
Good question. Yes and no. It's been a little bit of both. There was already stuff written for 2 and 3, like right after 1 was done. And so I had already sort of put stuff in there that I wanted to sort of explore and add more characters, non-binary character, add more people of color, like expand it, right? That's the whole best thing about genre, which I love, is it doesn't matter any of that, right? You can be in this world and be awesome. And so that was kind of already part of it. So I think I've been able to sort of, since I took a step back and came back to it, making sure I've reached out to friends to make sure that I'm not, because I have one viewpoint in terms of like how I view the world, obviously. So I want to make sure that I'm doing things right, and so reaching out and making sure that I'm using the right, I'm trying to think of the right way how to say this. Just making sure I'm doing it right, because I don't want to be naive, if you will, because I'm just like, hey, I can write whatever I want. It's totally going to be my voice, and that's not always accurate. And I'm trying to like focus my thoughts right now, so I apologize. I'm trying to figure out the best way how to say that. So that's why I say yes and no. I think it's been sort of I had already wanted to expand in the world, and this, I think, helped me kind of see it through a new lens. And so now I'm kind of going through and kind of figuring out, I have an opportunity to rewrite. I have an opportunity to kind of like take a step back and think about, well, okay, are we stereotyping there? Are we doing this? Are we doing that? And just trying to make it more authentic.
Okay. And I wanted to ask, with Pride here, Hillary, is there something that like essential viewing for like a queer person that you're like, yes, you need to watch that movie and you need to watch it now? You have a recommendation?
You need to go watch Passage if you haven't watched Passage.
Besides Passage.
I am such a genre geek that it's anything that I'm going to recommend is just that, right? It's such genre, because it's total escapism for me, and being able to sort of like escape in that. So we're actually going back and watching older stuff that sort of helped me fall in love. So like Lost Girl, Killjoys, and like Firefly. Like I'm going back, Orphan Black. Like I'm going back to the old school, as I call it, old school. To like the stuff that like started my whole like read love, if you will, of this genre. So I think I use it. Shannon mentioned this. I use it for escapism. That just diving into that world and just being able to check out with everything else going on. So I think not focus just sort of like what you love to watch. You know, there's amazing comedies and dramas and genre stuff and documentaries and everything. So I think you know, find what you love to watch, and then, you know, also look on Twitter and Instagram Live, and people are making a ton of recommendations. Support indie filmmakers who have their stuff on there. You know, there's Real Women's Network has a bunch of content that's just all women. So if you want to watch something that's created by a woman, directed by a woman, written by women, it's awesome. And there's a ton of stuff on there as well. Like, there's some great platforms that you can support indie filmmakers and even indie queer filmmakers as well.
Okay.
That's my
Question.
plug.
Have you watched Vagrant Queen yet?
Yes,
It is amazing.
it was awesome.
Amazing. What about you, Shannon? What recommendations do you have that's like essential queer viewing?
I'm going to throw right to Outfest right now, because again, something's happening right now that is unprecedented. Cannes is online, everything's virtual. We cannot be in person at film festivals, which has opened up a paradigm that allows for people to watch content that otherwise would be delayed. So Outfest right now, I don't know if it was something specifically, but they're offering 30 or 60 days free to watch. So go support indie filmmakers. Go support those short films that are telling the stories that you want to tell. Because I'm going to tell you, viewership is what we are tracking, right? If there is something, go support. I just binged, I think in 2 days, I don't know, maybe 3 days, AJ and the Queen on Netflix. Beautiful. RuPaul and little AJ, I'm sorry, I swore. I went there. It was so beautiful because it was just a life story. And so I would say go do your research. There are amazing, Hillary already said, Real Women's Network, Les Flicks UK, Tello Films. There are so many queer content creators that you can support. I would also challenge you to find Black Lives Matter support. You know, there are so many Black incredible voices. Mudbound, if you have not seen Mudbound, you need to stop what you're doing, go see it. It is directed by a woman of color. A Black woman, and again, learning. And the cinematographer was the first female nominated for an Academy Award for cinematography. So these are the ways that we can support each other. And it's not, to me, it's so difficult to make indie film, and indie film people will tell you, especially right now with COVID, it's all about telling our story. There are stories and voices that we want to amplify. There are things that we want to normalize through art, because that's what art does. And so in order to do that, we need your support. And understandably, right now we're in a pandemic. Money might not be the way that you can support, but guess what? Your voice and your social media presence and things like that, actually, you never know who you're going to connect to because of social media. So.
What about you, Nicole?
Well, man, do I piggyback on everything that was just said? I feel like I don't I feel kind of bad saying what I'm about to say, because I don't want to take away from people going to indie stuff, because especially everything that's available via Outfest, because having the privilege of living in Los Angeles and having been able to attend Outfest several times, I mean, there's just such amazing content that you don't get to see anywhere else. So highly recommend checking out those films. What I would say though, for the more mainstream crowd, and for those who, like me, really, really appreciate seeing awesome, like textured queer storylines within greater stories that incorporate lots of different kinds of people and communities. If you have not seen Sex Education on Netflix, do it.
It's so good.
It is. I have to say, well, a couple things. The queer storylines in season 2 get even better. They go to truly like heart-wrenching but beautiful and ultimately joyful places. They explore things that I just haven't seen explored, especially from the teenage perspective. It's a very diverse show, which is beautiful. And as an actor, I'm obsessed with all the actors, and as a writer, it is a lesson in storytelling. They just do an absolutely incredible job. And if you've ever had a crush on Gillian Anderson, you're just going to die. So there's also that. She doesn't age. It's crazy. So she's amazing.
It's witchcraft right there.
Yeah, it's witchcraft. But I truly, I can't recommend it highly enough. Such Sex Education on Netflix. Yeah.
What about you, Mandahla?
Work in Progress.
Oh yes.
If you haven't seen
right
it,
at the beginning, right when things were like all happening.
yeah, that's
Yeah, it was months ago.
months ago. But Work in Progress. I think I know that they were on Showtime, but I think someone was. I really need to bring this information to myself before I get here. I think it was Showtime. It was playing after the new L Word, Generation Q, and it was anyway, Work in Progress. Can you please talk more about it?
It has incredible butch representation and trans representation, and in ways that we just don't see it.
And mental health, and it talks a lot about mental health.
Yes,
well.
a lot.
lot.
It's hugely focused on mental health. So I do think that it tries to be diverse, but I have a feeling that in second season it's going to get more so. But you kind of do get to see the generational divide too, between a woman who's a butch woman who's in her 40s, I believe, like mid 40s, and then a young trans guy who's in his early 20s, and the different communities that they attract, I think say so much about where we are as a community and the generational divide, and trying to understand those who came before and this new generation coming up. It's a great show. Yeah.
Thank you.
No
I
problem.
gotta check it out. Yes, thank you, Nicole. And Nicole's like, I got all the words.
I've been watching as well Wentworth, an Australian prison show which makes Orange is the New Black look like a journey ride on Disneyland. It is wonderful. There is queer characters in that. Frankie is Nicole De Silva plays Frankie, and that is also, it just shows you what real life prison and how hardcore women have to be, and also the things that they go, to prison for, because of men and patriarchy. Wentworth, check it out. Netflix.
Okay.
And
And
it's Australian too, so that's cool.
what happened?
And it's Australian.
And
so
it's
that's
Australian.
Oh,
That's cool.
even better.
Mhm.
Even better. And if there was like what's your dream like queer story that you would love to see out there? Like Shannon.
I have a wonderful friend, Erica Schultz. She's a comic book writer. She has written, the thing I love about her as a comic book writer is that she is so inclusive. And again, it's about the story, right? So 12 Dancing Devils, or 12 Devils Dancing. She's going to freaking kill me for this one. But that one has a gay male in the story. And then she's got some other ones that have been written, but my favorite right now is Forgotten Home, which I got to do some voiceover work for, because the main character, their love interest, the person that they were supposed to be together with, was in love with both a male and a female. And I think that I know Nicole is a very huge advocate for this as well, but positive bisexual representation on the screen or in any medium is very important. And so, I mean, to be honest, I didn't know until we were doing this voiceover, but each of the names of the characters, because it's 3 generations of women in Forgotten Home, it's Ronnie, Lorraine, and Joanne, and they all mean queen. And so Lorraine or Ronnie, I would love to just see those women on the big screen. And Joanne comes into her own power. And whether or not Joanne is anything, I don't know, but she has a very adorable relationship with a young Asian girl. So I love it. I also love Erica Schultz. We might be interchangeable, is the running joke between our friends, but
What about you, Hillary? What queer story would you just like die to see? Besides more of your own.
I'm going to jump in and just say more of your own is an okay answer, because you're fierce. I know you got stories. Okay, I'm muting myself.
Go for it, Hillary.
So I'm a sap for holiday films. I would love to see an actual I technically wrote one too. So I want to be like, what's the whole thing with who's the guy, Ryan Murphy, who has like the horror and then the like musical. I want to be like the sci-fi and then like the campy holiday stuff. So I just think that there's just, everyone talks about it every year. I just really wish that someone would stand up and make, and I know that there have been holiday films that have come out, but on like an actual television where people who don't see that kind of representation can watch it on their screen and go like, oh, okay, great. And it'll just be a love story that everyone loves. Because I feel like a lot of times it's indie filmmaking, it's great, but sometimes the people who need to see it on their screen to kind of normalize that don't get the opportunity. So that would be.
Sorry, I was on mute. So for anyone watching right now, can you tell us a little bit about the holiday film that you made? Yeah, because someone's probably like, wait, what? I want to watch this.
Well, so Shannon's in it. So that's the fun part, is find your people, because then you'll want to work together again.
How did it come about? On Passage.
On Passage, actually, yeah. Drinking whiskey
and fire. No fire that night. It was just whiskey.
No, there was no fire that night. That's the other night. Yeah, there has been. I have God only knows how many holiday films written, and I had like a bunch of like ideas just coming up, and so on Passage, Shannon and I were talking, and I think we just talked about some of the stories, and then Shannon, I think you told us much better at the last time. So Shannon messaged me and was like, "Hey, send me like your 5 pitches." And so I sent him. She's like, "Oh, I like this one. Send it to me." And then I had not written it, so I wrote it in a day and then sent it to her. And then like a month later, we were in New York shooting. So it was one of those things that was crazy, and that was a whole different experience too. So Holiday Help Desk, which is also on Netflix and Real Ones Network, and where else, Shannon?
It's also on Vimeo on demand and Amazon, because we do try to, there's definitely like firewalls and IP that we have to try to bridge the gap. So in Canada, you can't watch it on Amazon, but you can watch it on Vimeo, Lesflix, and Real Women's Network. I'm not sure about their territories. I apologize.
Mm-hmm. And that's just a cute little love story. There's no coming out. No, it's just
we need that. We need those cute little love stories. We need more of them, Hillary. Get on it. What about you, Nicole? What kind of, like, what would be the dream?
A queer polyamorous medieval drama. That combines literally everything that I love. Like, think Game of Thrones, except queer and polyamorous, which it already was pretty much. Or I would also be okay with doing colonial period queer polyamorous drama around the Salem witches.
Wow.
So there we go. Will I write it? Quite possibly.
I think you should.
But I'm obsessed with period pieces, also witches, also queerness and polyamory. So it's everything. Gentleman Jack is like my favorite show that's ever happened. So there we go.
So what about you, Mandahla?
I mean, look, I've always I would love to see a queer serial killer who's out there, maybe married to someone, I don't know. Maybe during something like a zombie apocalypse would be pretty cool, because I like the zombie apocalypse and I love serial killers and I love queer. So a married lesbian couple, one of them's a serial killer in a zombie apocalypse. That's what I would like.
This is very specific.
It sounds a little familiar.
Does it?
I'm sure.
Familiar.
Does it?
Like the script of someone on this call, perhaps.
Hillary? Have you written something like this already?
I've written a serial killer zombie apocalypse short film. Yes, I have.
There we go.
I need to know more.
Do
after
it.
This. Do it. Also, Nicole, Motherland, Fort Salem.
Yes, that feels like the poor man's version. Sorry, that's probably.
Oh no! But it's
Nicole's going to HBO. Nicole, just go.
No, like we're like that. Like I watched and it's gotta be a period. Like that's a futuristic one. This has got to be. I want period costumes. I want the whole nine. I want
to see Salem.
Time to get those corsets off.
No, not Salem.
Salem.
No, I didn't see
witches.
Salem. I didn't see Salem.
I only watched a couple episodes, but like to me, their authenticity to the time.
Oh, cool.
That was hot. Yeah. I don't know anything else about the characters.
again. I'll check it out.
And I want to say thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me today. That's it for QFX's panel on Passage, the series. Make sure to stick around because the QFX movie watch party of Moonlight is coming right up. And just, I hope you guys have a great day. And just bye.
Thanks for doing
Bye,
this.
guys. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.